Okay, this will be an interesting one. I'm getting wet, hot and sweaty today, folks. Trying to think which one I'm going to press. Going at 200. This will be an interesting one. Going to make it a negative positive. Actually, no, we don't lighten it because we're using negative positive. We're going to leave the red out. We're going to just use this. Right, let's see what we have. We have here school holiday activities, and we're interested in that picture, a children's drawing that has been created for this flyer, this booklet. I think we call it a booklet. So we're just going to make it look interesting. Okay, out it comes. Shit house. It's got too much of that. That's dominating the image. Looks shit house, folks. I'm actually going to make this a smaller enlargement. So we're going to try and make it more interesting. Been a really vigorous movement. Okay, let's see how that's turned out. That's turned out interesting, but not what I want. This is a difficult one, folks. I don't know why I'm having difficulties trying to make this look good. Wondering. I'm gonna just maybe slow it down a bit. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks interesting. It looks boring though. Just not easy getting something good out of this. See, it should be an easy one, folks, from what I know, this style of original. Okay, out it comes. Yeah, that's interesting. Wondering if we could use that one to do something more interesting, to make this into something more interesting. I'm actually thinking, now we're just going to remove that, and we're going to stick it on 100. I'm actually thinking we might leave it on negative positive. Maybe I'm going to need a background colour for this. Not going to be yellow, cyan. It's just no colours that would go. So I'm going to leave the colours out for this. Okay, out it comes. Yeah, that looks interesting. It looks pale and wishy-washy. The red has really gone out when it comes to the wishy-washiness that we have. Right, we're going to just take this, put it aside, and we're going to use this somewhat wishy-washy piece of shit. Maybe if we darken it, wondering what we're going to do with it. Going to leave that. I'm going to leave it in negative, positive. Right, we're going to do that. This looks interesting shape-wise, so we can just somehow make this look even better by moving this one. This is a challenging one, all right. Anyway, that looks a lot better. It looks a lot more interesting. I'm not big on the colours, but the colours look all right. I think we can make something out of it next generation. So we're just going to put that aside. And we're going to remove the negative positive for this. So we're just going to put everything back to as if we're doing a positive image of this. So we just lighten that up. Contrast is going to stay. Actually, we're going to take out the contrast. So we're going to make a movement of this. These are challenging pieces, these sorts of movements that we're doing. That looks interesting. Still not convincing. Trying to think what we can use. I was thinking of using that, but I'm thinking we're going to use that. I don't know how it's going to work. Just this little section there. So I don't know how it's going to look. There's just heaps of that green in the place nearby, so we don't want to emphasize that too much. So now the horizontal is going to make it 300 by 300. And I think we've set things up correctly, pretty much. This has been a challenging one, folks. This is not great. Wondering maybe on the vertical we could stretch it to get less of that green and more of that colour. So I'm going to stretch the vertical. The vertical's going to go bigger. We're going to make it 380. And the horizontal, should I say, is going to be 300. We're going to stick it to 300. Let's see how we go. Okay, out it comes. Yeah, that looks a bit better. We got more of that yellowy, orangey stuff. It still looks shit, but I think we can work with this. We'll see how it turns out in the end result. It's tricky trying to get a nice looking piece. It's not the greatest piece we're working with. It might look better than I think when I finally arrange it on the bed, which is the surface I'm using now. I don't have room for a studio. I'm in a 1-bedroom unit. There's no space to put, there's no studio space or spare bedroom. But I'm grateful that I've got a place to live, because I have been homeless, folks. So I do appreciate having a place to be, and not having to deal with idiots, because I'm on my own. So living with Dad wasn't an easy thing. He was a fucking asshole, and he tried to disrupt the things that I was doing, because he's trying to get my attention, the fucking slut. He's a bully, an asshole. So I don't have to deal with him anymore. So I just do my own shit, and that's it. It's my way or the highway, in other words. This isn't the greatest. I'm probably thinking I could have done a better version of this if I had been more patient, a bit more diligent. Now, I just didn't pull these out properly. But, you know, this might look better than I think. Those little orangey bits hopefully will add some accent to this. Okay, let's see how that looks. Probably not as good as I'm thinking it would have been if I had persevered. Would have been a much longer demo time, however, but that looks interesting. It looks somewhat minimalist. Well, I don't know, it's not my cup of tea, but I think now we can call it quits.